Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is, to know beyond the shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never, ever alone. Here on Invisible Condition, we know that life can be tough, especially living with an invisible medical condition. I get it. I've lived with one my whole life, starting at 2 weeks old with my first brain surgery, first of 7. I get it. Okay. The other thing is that you got to remember is that there is always hope, no matter what. So if you are having trouble with that and you have lost your hope, let me know. I want to help. So I'm going to put an email address up here in a second. When we're talking about the nonprofit side of the show. And if you are ever in a spot that you have lost your hope and you don't know what to do, shoot me a message. Love to help you. So, all right, here we go. I'm going to put this on the screen right. Here's the email that I was talking about. Jeff@hydrowithhope.com. That is my email for our nonprofit. So, and also I'm going to put this on too, because this is our web page, or our donation page, really, for Hydro with Hope, for our nonprofit. So we help people that are living with hydrocephalus, a condition called hydrocephalus, basically water on the brain. Requires a lot of brain surgery throughout somebody's life, or it can. I'm 48 years old and I've had 7 brain surgeries because of it so far. And, I count myself lucky. There's a lot of people a lot younger than me that have had a lot more surgeries. So it's everybody's a little different. The commonality is brain surgery, and that can be freaky and that can be scary. And so we've created some resources, and we want to get those resources to you if you need them. And so we can't do it without funding those. So you feel led and feel like it and want to help our organization, thank you in advance. There's a very easy link there on the other side of that QR code. So, and on the same page of that, if you are somebody that has been around watching for a little bit and you say, you know what, I think I know of somebody that needs to advertise on your show, I'd love to talk to you too. If that's the case, shoot an email right here, invisiblecondition@e360tv.com. And I would love to talk to you about that and see how we could work that out, how we could get your message in front of our tens of thousands of viewers every single month. So that's enough of that. Let's get to our guest. Our guest is awesome. I can't wait for you to meet him. Let me take this. Where did it go? Where did it go? There it is. I'm going to take this down so you don't have to look at that. All right. Now, Frank Ring is my guest, and Frank is awesome. He is a prostate cancer survivor, fitness educator, author, and walking coach with more than 20 years of experience, helping people build practical, sustainable health. Can't be short term. It's got to be sustainable for the long term. That's what he's into. So after being diagnosed with prostate cancer in 2025, earlier this year, and going through hormonal therapy and radiation and all the things that you do when you hear the word cancer, he discovered that something rarely talked about, the emotional, physical, and identity challenges that men in particular face during and after treatment. Like, it's a thing. So drawing from his own journey and his background in movement and mindset coaching, he created the Strong Through Prostate Cancer method to help men move from simply surviving, to becoming strong 2.0. So let's bring Frank on. I can't wait for you to meet him. Did I get that right thing on there? Yes, I did. Perfect. All right, let's bring him on. Hey, Frank, thank you so much for being here, man. I'm looking forward to this.
Jeff, thank you so much for having me on here. Appreciate it. Appreciate the effort you put in.
Absolutely, man. This is going to be fun. So I'm gonna first, let me, before we get started, I want to just throw this out there. Wherever you are watching from, thank you so much for being here. If you're watching on E360 or Apple TV or Roku TV or wherever you're watching, thank you for being here. And if you're watching in particular on Facebook or YouTube, super easy to comment. If Frank says something during the show, or if I say something during the show and you're like, oh, light bulb just went off, or wait a minute, I've never heard that before, I'm going to argue with you, or whatever, throw a comment in there. We'll get back to you. We'll answer the comment and we'll go from there. So that's a really cool way to get the message to us, and we'll go from there. So, and then the other thing is, this is Frank's website here. So scan the QR code and go check that out. I'll just leave this up here for probably 95% of the show, so that you can access it and look around and see what he's doing. So Frank, I got a question for you that I ask everybody at the beginning of the show. It's not hard, but it's always got an awesome answer. In the days that were rough, right? And there's always rough days, especially with cancer. On those dark days, how did you still maintain hope?
During the dark days, I fell back on what I had been doing prior to getting cancer, and I went out and took a walk. Believe it or not. And the website is Walking for Health and Fitness. That's what I've been doing for the past several years. But one particular tough day, actually, after everything had done, after radiation was done, I still had the hormonal drugs in me. They're still lingering in there. But I just had a rough day, and I just needed to get out and have a conversation with someone I needed to have this conversation with, and the walk and the conversation just kind of cleared what that rough day was for me. And I was fortunate, and this is crazy, but I had my PSA levels were rising. I had a biopsy. This was in the springtime. And I just happened to be at my general doctor's office for a physical.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, let me see if those biopsy results came in. Everything's on portals now, So I bring it up.
Yeah, right.
I'm sitting in her waiting room and I bring it up. I'm like, oh, the results are here. And it says the C word. It says cancer. And I immediately was like, I wasn't, I didn't know what I was expecting. I mean, when they take a biopsy, they're sure something's there, and I guess they're more prepared. But thank goodness I was in her office, because what I did was I immediately took the report and I copied it into ChatGPT. And just to get what is this? What am I facing with these terms that I never heard of, and Gleason numbers and this, that, and the other thing. And it came back with a breakdown of it, which I kind of got, that it was very treatable. I was a Gleason 7, and I went into my doctor, and first thing, I've been with her for 27 years, and for that long, she's just a wonderful person. And this new greeting, Frank, how are you? How you doing? And I'm like, I'm a wreck. I'm not doing good at all.
Right.
I said, I just got the results. I said, here, and I gave her my phone, and she's sitting there scrolling through ChatGPT, looking at what it said. And this was the greatest thing. She looked at me. I said, Doc, what am I facing here? And she's great. She has she's from Lithuania. She has a nice little accent, And she said, I wish I could do it justice. But anyway, she just looked at me and she said, well, you have cancer. You will get it taken care of, and you will live a long life. And I said, are you sure? And she said, yes, you will get it taken care of. You will live a long life. So in that 10 minutes of finding out and then being reassured that everything was okay, that was a very fortunate circumstance that I had right there, because I mean, I'm 62 years old. I know you had mentioned your age at some point during the introduction, but I'm a child of the 70s. And I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Brian Song.
You know what? I have. That's one I've missed.
Wow. Okay. So I'm 8 years. It's 1981. I'm 8 years old, and I think I'm watching a football movie. There's only a few channels, and I'm like, oh, these guys playing football. This is interesting. And then he starts talking about cancer, and at the end is the scene where Gail Sayers is at an award ceremony, and he's talking about how brave Brian Piccolo is. And I'm 8 years old, and I'm like hysterical crying. That's that's what cancer brings up because of that age. My uncle passed away in the early 70s from he had stomach cancer. I don't know if it was more specific than that. At the time you're a little kid, they don't really tell you too much. But
Right.
so that word,
Yeah.
brings up fear. My mom had pancreatic cancer. She
Ooh.
passed from that,
Oh,
but
man.
earlier in the 90s or late 90s, she survived colon cancer. So through
I mean,
time, the cancers are so much more survivable. She went through a
right.
lot with the colon cancer, but we got another 16 years of her life, which was awesome. So, but and then in that moment, all of those I'm 8 years old watching Brian's song.
Oof. Well, and you mentioned your mom. I mean, there are, about 3/4 of our audience that watch every week are women. So
Okay.
we have a large section of our audience that are women, and then about 75%, and then about 20% are men, and they're all kind of in that 45 to 65 age range, and so this is probably hitting home for a lot of people right now.
Yeah.
But now all you ladies out there, don't turn the channel, because if you're married to a man that could deal with this is going to be valuable information. So you don't necessarily have to deal with this. This is more of a, prostate cancer is mostly a guy thing, but if you're married to a man, you're going to want to stick around, because this is going to be some amazing insight during this episode. So call your husband, get him over there, watch the replay if you need to, but this is going to be good. So yeah, I mean, those are words you never want to hear. You have prostate cancer, right? Like that's the word. That word is it's like the worst 4-letter word that's actually 6 letters in the world.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah. But well, it often comes with side effects too, right? Like there's no condition that doesn't come with or is it the medication? Is it the condition that comes with side effects, or is it the medication?
The medication. What happened was, so once I started researching it, what the prostate cancer, and I looked at how curable it is, and
Sure.
being reassured by my doctor, I'm like, okay, I'll get through this. My dad had prostate cancer in 1999. He's 84 years old right now. Just bought a new car, drives from North Jersey down to Atlantic City once a month. So it's treatable, it's
I love it.
survivable.
Yeah.
What kicked my butt was the side effects of the treatment was worse. I mean, there's really no symptoms are gradual, and I attributed the symptoms I had to aging. That's why I went to the urologist. Urinating more often, sexual function at times was a little bit iffy, and you're like, hey, what's going on here? And
what's happening?
and I'd always had my PSA checked due to my dad's condition, so that was a blessing. And you mentioned your audience, just have the men in your life get the PSA level checked. When you catch this early, it's treatable, and it's the side effects more of the treatment than the cancer itself, which is what I'm going through and what I went through the last few months.
Yeah. Well, and okay, so there's the treatment, there's basically the napalm for your system, right? The radiation and the whatever, but then there's the emotional and the practical and there's more to it than just medication.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, what happens is, and here, so I went to, let's see, I'll give you the dates. So leading up to this, I'm a school teacher, and the doctor's offices, they were great. All of the doctors I had were just awesome, but there's a lot of vagaries as to when the treatment starts, when radiation starts. So I said, okay, I'm going to get this injection of ADT, androgen deprivation therapy. Basically, how my doctor explained it, he said, Frank, we're going to shut down your testosterone. Boom, gone. The cancer, because the cancer in the prostate feeds off of the testosterone. So we knock it out, and then you'll go for radiation. The radiation will kill the cancer cells, and there you go. Boom. And so once I was researching what that ADT does to you and lack of testosterone, I was like, oh, this is what I'm worried about. I'm not even worried about the cancer anymore. That freaked me out more. I had 1 month left of school, and I couldn't deal with even thinking about teaching. So I had my doctor put me out of work, and I just wanted to focus on my treatment. I
Right.
went on the, it was May 28th. It was a Wednesday. And the doctor had the needle. It was like this big. And he injected me. I said, what's going to happen? He said, as soon as I give you this injection, boom, cancer's going to stop growing. I said, all right, that's good to hear. He said,
Okay.
but, you're going to feel tired. You're going to feel irritable. I said, well, let me ask you about, my sex life. And he basically said, well, you're going to want to watch the Knick game more than, more than have sex. And I'm like, oh God, this is,
That's a
yeah,
really fancy way of saying don't count
yeah,
on it, right? That's
yeah, that's, and
oh,
I in all the research I did, I knew that was coming, but when you hear it and then you experience it, it's like, oh man, what the hell?
man, yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
then
not cool.
immediately it took effect pretty quickly in the sense
Yeah.
of how I felt physically. So my website is Walking for Health and Fitness. I totally believe in the power of walking. It helped me through a serious back injury, and I stopped running and I continued walking.
Mm.
And I've written
Yep.
books about it, so that's been my focus. So I'd go to school, get there early, I'd walk my track, and I do body weight exercises. That's part of my program.
Yep.
So the day before this, and like I said, I had been working out all year. So, but the day before I said, let me kind of get a baseline of where I am right now so I could do a comparison. And I did 4 laps on the track. Every half a lap, I stopped and I did push-ups. So I had a nice
Wow.
baseline. I did
All right.
8 sets of 50 push-ups. So I was in good shape. I I walk the walk of what I talk
Yeah,
about.
you do.
And so now I get this treatment. I go home. My lovely girlfriend is like, "Hey, just take it easy. We'll just we'll get through this." And I said, "All right." And wake up the next day. Let me go cut the lawn. And all of a sudden, I'm like, "This was never a struggle. Like it was really that. It was really
Yeah.
that quickly." And I described it. She says, "How you feeling?" I came in. I said, "Wow, I feel like." If you're not someone who does physical work a lot, like, so I'm a
Yeah.
school teacher, I'm at my desk, I work out with
Right.
the kids,
Yeah.
but like if I ever like at my old house, I had to dig a trench. So I
Oh,
was digging. So that's a day's work, right?
right.
And after a tough day or snow shoveling, you do a
Yes.
tough 2 hours of snow shoveling to get out of your driveway. I would feel like my body was buzzing.
Yeah.
And what happened with this ADT, even the mildest effort I put into anything, I felt that same kind of buzz,
Mm, yeah.
that my body was overexerted from really some simple things. So it was like I felt that immediately, and then gradually I just kind of lost focus on so many things. I had a whole game plan. In fact, I was taking notes yesterday. I was on a conference call, and I looked back and 2 pages before this, and I had my whole schedule of what I was going to follow for the summer for that
Yeah.
treatment time. And I'm like, wow, that went out the window like probably like day 3 because
Yeah.
I started, I was so worried about losing muscle mass. So I was
Sure.
doing the body weight exercises and I'm like, well, I have dumbbells downstairs. Let me start lifting. And then I wound up straining my shoulder. I was overexerting myself on my treadmill because
Mm,
I wanted to keep my cardio up. So I know the stuff to do to stay in
yeah.
shape, right? This is what I preach. And yet, in what I call it, it was like the fog of war. I'm in this
Yeah.
cancer
Yeah.
battle and I'm in it. And now all the reasoning I had just kind of went out the window. And that's what that's really shook me most as far as when I was getting through this process of, wow, I know the things that I'm supposed to do, and I'm just not doing it. I found
Yeah.
myself, the fog of war. I love watching like series television, or I say
Yeah.
television, but everything's on streaming. But
Oh, yeah.
and I would say, oh, that looks good. I'm home. Let me watch that. And then I was like, I don't want to spend an hour watching that. But then I'd pick up my phone and I'd scroll through YouTube shorts. Like
Right.
it's like I
For
only had
2
the
hours.
mindset for something really short. And
Yeah.
my attention span. I look back, I didn't read a book all summer.
Oh, wow.
So the treatment went from May was the injection, May 28th.
Yeah.
October 23rd, I rang the bell. My 28th, I had 28 radiation treatments. And in that time, I did read one book. was like,
Ugh,
wow, what the hell did I do during that time? And I just kind
right?
of was, I woke up and I know I did stuff. I mean, I have a very
Sure.
nice life. I enjoyed the time with my girlfriend Peggy, but it was like I felt lost. I did very few things. I did very few videos for my website. I have a
Yeah.
podcast. I think I did one or two podcasts, and just so that's what um prompted me after treatment. About 2 weeks after the radiation ended, I still was kind of like lost as far as
Right.
where am I going with this? And that's when I decided, you know what? I think if I'm not the only one who's faced this. I mean,
No.
hundreds of thousands of men are diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Yeah.
So I think if I can come up with a way to help myself now, then of what I should have done. That word "should" is never a good word, but what I should have
No.
done in starting in May. If I can help men get through that and come out the other side, I put on 18 pounds during this treatment because without the testosterone, all bets are off as far as weight. And I
Yep.
was a guy who I had stayed within 170 to 175 probably for the last 15 years you
Nice.
know but with the walking I was doing, the fitness, I'm a cross country, was a cross country track coach. So fitness was my thing. I'm not like a just a guy who kept himself in shape. I like being in
Yeah.
shape. And all of a sudden it was quick. So May 28th, got the injection. July 17th is my birthday. We were down at the Jersey Shore.
Hmm.
And I looked down and I'm like, what is this? Where did this come from? This gut. It like
Yeah.
snuck up on me so
Yeah.
fast. I was eating like I never had a big appetite and I couldn't get enough. Like, so there
I'm.
are so many
Yeah.
changes that happen to you because of this drug. So it saves your life, but it kind of messes with your life at the same time.
I've kind of been there, man. I
Yeah.
get it. There's been a lot of times that I mean, my weight has fluctuated so much with the various surgeries I've had over the last, especially the last 10, 12 years, man.
Mm.
There was one that I had, it was an emergency abdominal surgery because of some scar tissue that was being weird, and I dropped 30 pounds because of a medication they had me on. I looked like skin and bones.
Wow.
Now I don't.
Mhm.
Now I went the other direction. I'm probably could lose a few pounds, but boy, that I mean, it's crazy how much you look and you go, you're not even paying attention. You're so focused on just being like getting through it, you
Mm.
know.
Yeah.
And so, but I want to, after we're going to go to a break here in a minute, and then after that, I want to talk more about. Honestly, I kind of want to talk more about the aspect of how you like you have techniques for men that are going through this and families are going through this to thrive through this and not just struggle, right?
Mm.
Because anybody can struggle through this.
Ye
It's not
Yeah.
as cool to struggle through it though. If you
Right.
can thrive through it, let's
Right.
do that.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
when we come back, let's talk about that a little bit and see like because you've got the whole program and I want these everybody in the audience to hear all about this. So we'll do that on the other side of this break. Everybody stick around and we'll see you in just a couple of minutes. Actually, Frank, I'll see you in just a couple of minutes,
Mm.
and then and we're going to talk about coffee for a second. So, all right, everybody, listen. I know that if you've been watching for a minute or two or a few weeks, that you have heard me talk about roast to order coffee. Now, I got to say this first. I have been a coffee nerd for years. I love great coffee. If a bag of coffee, in fact, if a bag of coffee doesn't have a roast date on it that's within like the last 2, 3 weeks, I usually just leave it on the shelf. I'll look for one that does. So that's kind of how I roll. So that's why I'm so thankful for Mike at Roast to Order Coffee. They get it. He gets it. They roast the beans fresh, they ship them to your door, and they're always coming up with new amazing varieties. They listen. He listens to his customer base. A few years ago, they're like, hey, you have flavored coffee? Hey, maybe we try this one. Okay. And now it sells really well. Hey, do you have those K-cup pod things? No? Oh, well, maybe you should. Okay, let's try it. Now he sells a whole bunch of them. So whether you are one of the coffee drinkers that are like the Ethiopian light roast guy or the espresso guy or the decaf gal or the flavored coffee family, Mike's got you covered. In fact, I know we're coming up on the end of the year here. Tomorrow's New Year's Eve. I think we're about there. But for the new year, get yourself an e-gift card and get you some good coffee. Okay, he's got e-gift cards. He also does coffee subscriptions. So I know Christmas is behind us, but 2026 is just a couple days. Why not start the year off with some amazing coffee in your kitchen? So check it out. And your first order, if you scan this QR code, your first order will give you 20% off. So please do that and enjoy. All right. See you on the other side. We'll see you in just a couple of minutes.
Are you being priced out of healthcare? Tired of the prices skyrocketing and having to go to doctors dictated by a network? We feel your pain and have the solution, a nonprofit approach that is ethical and affordable. Take a moment to learn about a way that works better and feels better than health insurance.
Hey there. You know, every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Greg Russell. I'm the host of TechnologyTuesday.com. You can find us on the Conscious Business TV network every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the latest resources to help you make more money in your business. Join us on E360 TV. Come on.
All right, welcome back, everybody. You know what? I just realized that I probably should change the QR code on that last thing that says "Want to be a guest." I don't even know if that goes to the right calendar anymore. Sorry, everybody. If you shoot me an email or comment on YouTube or Facebook and let me know. Try it. Scan it. I dare you to scan it and let me know because I think I need to update that. So please scan that, rewind, scan the QR code. Let me know where it goes. Throw a comment in Facebook or YouTube. Let me know because I think I have to update that. I don't know why it just dawned on me to say that, but it did. So, all right, there we go. So, man, there's a lot that we covered in that first segment. So that's a lot to deal with, right? That's a lot to, cancer, surviving. Want to survive. Everybody wants to survive. Life is important. So you've got something that can help people not only in the midst of the process, you can thrive too, right? So that's what you're offering is you've come up with something that can help families thrive through it. Strong 2.0, right? So talk about that a little bit. Tell us what that's about. I think, and tell us about the website, all the things.
Sure. So after I got through the treatment, October 23rd, I did about 2 weeks of like soul searching and like, God, I'm through this, but I don't feel well. I didn't feel well emotionally. I didn't feel well physically. I had the weight gain. I was fortunate. I mean, I was getting out, playing a little bit of golf every once in a while. And I wasn't enjoying that so much, which I always like to do. I was going out for my walks, but not as far as I had been or as being as consistent as I would be. So I realized, I said, if I could go back and do this, what would I do? And what would I do? What do I need to do right now? Because I'm dealing with it right now, And so I just went back to some of the things that I always had pieces of different parts of like a structure to my life. And I said, well, what if I put it all together? So for instance, like starting a morning routine. Years ago, I read Hal Elrod's book. The name just escapes me, about waking up at 5 a.m. and doing he has. And I did it for a while and I stopped. I'm like, well, that I found helpful. So what if I start doing that? So I started getting up early, and I have my men's devotional reading that I do. It's a real quick read, kind of gets my mindset, bigger picture in life. I have a personal growth reading that I was doing. It was Napoleon Hill's Life Lessons. Each page was really nice and geared towards business, but also in growth. And then the best thing I did, I started the gratitude journal. Now, I'm of the old school, right? I remember as a kid, our teacher was drumming into us, don't you dare write in that book, So I never marked up my books. Like, I'd read something and I'd put it on another paper. So actually, it's right here. And I actually started, I'm writing in that book. I'm breaking that rule from Sister Anne in first grade. And I noticed within a few days, I'm like, wow, I was looking forward to waking up in the morning to do that. To start to the gratitude journal, biggest thing that came about from that. So I'm like, all right, that's good. Now I need to start walking more again and consistently. And then also with the body weight exercises, stretching. My girlfriend, God bless her, she did two things for me. First thing this summer, we would go take a walk through town, and she would say, oh, I used to belong to the church there. So then the kids, they were busy with their lives, soccer on Sundays, and I kind of get out of it. But she'd always say, I think I want to go back. And she did. I said, well, you go and tell me how it goes. And and she said, it was great. I loved it. I said, all right, I'm coming with you next week. So since August, we started going back to church, which was huge for my mindset. Then, so 2 weeks after treatment ended, she's sitting in the living room and she says, hey, there's a special at this yoga studio in town. She said, I never realized this studio was there. Do you want to go? So my first reaction was, you go and tell me how it is. But I said, wait, like 20 seconds later, I said, wait, your first decision with church worked out really well. I said, so I'm all in with the yoga thing. And we started going like 6 days a week. And all of a sudden the stretching and the movement, I never realized how hard yoga was. Said, I'm going to sit, maybe meditate, some light.
Right.
Okay. So the first class was a little tough. The second class, a little bit like, well, that's interesting. My balance was like off from the weight I had gained and everything. The third class was a yoga fit class. And at one point I'm in a plank. My hands are shaking. my arms are quivering. And I hear drip, drip, drip. And
right.
Oh my God, I hadn't sweated like that in a workout and in years. And I'm like, whoa, there's something to this thing. So this is a nice component to add to the walking and the body weight exercise I was doing. So things started falling into place as far as what this program that I put together started just evolving from what I needed to do. So after that, I started looking at my diet, because during the treatment, I was hungry all the time. I couldn't be satisfied.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, all right, years ago, when my son was young, I put on some weight because I wasn't working out as much. I did a calorie count just to see what I was taking in. And wow, I was amazed at like those handful of nuts I was taking all summer long, watching, scrolling through like each handful was like 150 calories. I'm like, I was doing 3 or 4 handfuls a night. So that's where all the weight gain, just not even giving it a thought. So now I'm like, okay, I've got the mindset, I've got the training, I've got the, refueling, right? I came up with an acronym for this program. So it's STRONG, STRONG. So there's the S, set your intention in the morning, your mindset. The T, train your body. R, refuel intelligently and nurture your gut health.
Mm.
So important for fighting cancer, what's happening with the gut.
Huge.
Our local farmers market, lovely woman there sells kimchi. Kimchi is a
Oh.
great food for gut health. So got addicted to Korean kimchi, love it. And then another big one, sleep and rest.
Yes.
So while I was going through this, I'd sit on the couch and kind of stare at whatever was on YouTube, and I doze off. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm resting, I'm dozing off. And finally, Peggy said to me, hey, you got to stop. You're not doing it right. Like basically go into the bedroom, put your eye mask on, and get some sleep because you're just so run down. She says, I see it, but you don't see it. So
Yeah.
she was a great guide for me during this. So the O became optimized rest and recovery. N, navigating the mental and the mental battle and the identity shift. The identity shift from feeling weak, the identity shift from not being able to concentrate and even read a book. The sexual function identity shift, which just takes a hit.
Yeah.
And for the women out there, I mean, it's something that you need to understand, that it's nothing you've done. It's just, hey, it's
takes a toll.
It takes
Yeah.
a toll right there. So
Yeah.
that needs to be navigated. And then I'm like, all right, so I'm doing all this because I want to be, better, stronger. I want something to come out of this. And I've always, anything I've done in my life, I like that. And I'm like, well, if I can help other men with this, wow, isn't that a blessing of what just happened, through what I just went through? Why did I get cancer? Right? Why me?
Right.
Instead of now, oh, maybe it was the best thing that it happened to me because I can help other men. And that's the strong 2.0. You come out of this stronger. And I think I've always worked better with a coach. When I was an athlete in high school and beyond high school, you have a coach who holds you accountable. I didn't have that during the treatment. I just recently signed up for a business coach. And every week before those calls, I'm like, did I do what I was supposed to do? Because the last thing I want to hear is my coach being disappointed in me. Yes. So I decided, I've been a cross country coach. I've been a track coach. I've been a basketball coach. So this fits right in line. So maybe in this whole scheme of things, this cancer diagnosis really is a blessing, carrying me forward in the next stage of my life. I'm 62. I always said I'm going to live to be 100. So I've got 38 years to help men navigate their journey.
It's amazing. Well, and you've said some stuff. You kind of like went right past it, but I kind of want to, like, men. I know that this, mindset for us is huge. Like there's I know with for women, generally speaking, it's more in the physical world, right? It's like more tactile and more, but for us, it's like our mind is always going. And so the mindset can kill you. Like the mindset will just drag you down. So what do you have? Like, what can you help people with that? Like, because isolation and like it just, once it starts going,
Well, the mindset is so important in the business training that I'm doing. Is so key and it's key for everything we do. Open up and talk to someone about it. That was huge. I didn't talk to anybody about what I was going through. My dad went through it, and other than, hey, how you feeling? It's
because you didn't know what you didn't know, probably. Right? You didn't know what to ask.
And I had my brother-in-law, great guy, and he's the only one who asked me about the sexual function. So, wait, you don't have testosterone. So does that mean? I go, yeah, that's what it is. But that's not really a conversation about, like, we didn't have a conversation about what it actually meant for me, And so that's what I think, that's what men need, more of that, open and honest conversation about what we're thinking and going through. And I talked a lot on podcasts, not about this, I'm just saying in general, but to open up about it is something new for me, very new for me. And it's also been very helpful for me to talk about it. So that's where I think we're where the strong training would really be beneficial for a man to just have someone to say, hey, and you've been through this, what am I facing? How do I get through this? Like I said, my doctor said, hey, you'd rather watch the Knicks. Well, I need a little bit more than that. He's a great doctor and helping me with my cancer. Need a little bit more than, that advice. So that's what men need to do to get through this. And, I looked at everything I had. I went to chat. I went to websites. I went to videos.
Yeah.
But when it came down to it, I was lost in that fog. Like I said, I called it the fog of war. I was lost in that. And that's what men need to do. They need someone to bounce what they're feeling off of. And someone.
And are you talking about, when you say someone, are you like, I'm married? A lot of men out there are married. A lot of them you've got your girlfriend. If you're, if you're in that kind of situation, you're not single. Is your girlfriend, is your wife the best person to talk about some of this, or is it another man?
Yeah, I believe it's another man, because I had Peggy. Peggy was awesome, but she couldn't really get where I was coming from. Like, how it affected me. But I think a man should talk to other men about this.
So for the women out there that are watching, if your husband, if your boyfriend, if your whoever's in your life that's dealing with this is not talking to you about it, it's not you, it's him. Okay, it's not you. If you're married, you should, I would think personally, in my mind, you would think that you would be close enough to talk about the sex part. That would be something that you probably, you don't want to talk about that with, somebody else. But as far as everything else, only a man is going to understand what another man goes through.
Right. You're talking about, I've talked about it with Peggy, but there's only another guy going through this really understands what was going on in my head, and what that that idea of masculinity brings up. It's a big part of it, and all of a sudden it's not part of it, and then just feeling just weak and tired and irritable, and after that shot, and we have a wonderful relationship. I said, look, Peg, you've known me now for over 3 years. I'm a pretty calm guy, so if I lose it on you for some reason, before you get mad, just ask, is it you or is it the drugs?
Right.
And I did not lose it on her at all. So that was wonderful.
That's good. That's good.
So that's what maybe, come up with this idea of, working with men to help them through this, and to not just help them through it, to thrive through it, because this gives you an opportunity, if you've never really sat down with a gratitude journal or a personal development book or anything, or to think beyond whatever your situation is, whatever your job is, that, hey, you can take this and do something else with your life. And that's been what is exciting for me, that I've been doing this, and I can't wait to help other men make this transformation.
Amazing. Well, and one other thing that I want to throw out there is, since our audience there's a lot of women in our audience, if you were sitting across from a group of these women that are like, I don't know what to do with this guy. What would you tell the women to make the marriage better, or make their, what do they do?
encourage their men to find someone to talk to. If they can't communicate with the men, if their husband, their partner is not, suggest, hey, give Frank a call.
Give it right.
Give Frank. This guy, I saw him on TV. Go to his website and at least get the conversation going. And we'll see where that takes us. I can point them in the direction of them to start to understand what's happening to their bodies, what's happening to their emotions through all of this. Has so much to do with the treatment, the drugs, the hormones, that what cancer means. But there's a way through this.
Yeah, there is, and it takes a lot of resilience, and it takes a lot of what's the word I'm thinking of? Self-compassion. Is that a word? Go easy on yourself. It's new.
Well, that's go easy on yourself. Yeah, don't be so hard on yourself. that's and I mean, speaking of my own struggles, yeah, I'm probably the hardest on myself than anyone else has ever been.
Oh, we all are.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's how it works. Yeah. We'll bend over backwards to accommodate somebody else.
Yeah.
But yeah, when it comes to us,
yes,
we're
yeah,
always still rough. And
yeah.
yeah.
You know, that's the
It's
thing.
crazy. So
Yeah, so you know, I'm slowly coming out of it in that fog of what I talked about.
yeah.
I'm excited every morning to get up and to get into my routine, and you know, looking forward to the future. There's a little bleak. It was bleak during the summertime, you know. Like I knew I was going to be fine physically, but boy, the whole mental side of it just really kicked my butt.
Yeah.
And you know, so now that I'm coming out of it, I look at it this way, and I knew the things. I write about fitness, I talk about fitness, I podcast about fitness, but in it I was not able to see it, and I lost all that time. And I think if I could get to men in that early stage, or at any stage, but in that early stage, could save them time. I mean, I lost June, July, August, September, October, November, 6 months of my life that I feel I lost, that I was here, but I wasn't really advancing the ball
Yeah.
on anything in my life other than just trying to get through this thing.
Yeah.
And I think going back, had I hired a coach in June, I would have been 6 months ahead of where I am right now. And
Yeah, but
you know, I would have been feeling a lot better a lot sooner.
yeah, I mean, so for those of you out there, right, don't shit on yourself, right?
Mm.
It's okay. You
Yeah.
can't go back, but
Right.
but for those that are out there that are thinking, okay, do I really need the support? Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Uh, yes.
You need
do.
support, and it's so important. Just to have someone who, hey, has been there, and you're going to get through this, and we'll make it in a way that you'll come out the other side, you know, in better shape than you went into it.
Right. Well, and for got a few minutes left here. We got about, I don't know, 6 or 7 minutes left.
Okay.
If someone's listening and feels like, and they're like where you were in May or June, right? And they're like, oh my God, where is this going? Am I ever going to make it out of here? If somebody's listening and feels like cancer like stole part of who they are, or like, what would you tell them to encourage them to get through that, to get where you are now?
Well, I would encourage them. Well, just like I kind of outlined in the program, just stop, take a deep breath, and change what you're doing. I was doing the same routine in the sense of how I live my life, right? And it wasn't working. It worked before the androgen deprivation. Everything worked really well. During it didn't. So just stop. And you know, if they look through, you know, what the acronym is, you know, set your mindset every morning that, hey, this is temporary. I'm going to get through this. Let me do some reading or something, whether it's meditating, listening to music, that just gets your mindset that, okay, I'm going to get through this. I'm going to get through this in the best possible way. You know, that's one. Train your body, right? The T, just get out for a walk. And there are days where you're not going to feel like going walking. There were days I got out and walked that I'm like, oh, I usually love this and I just can't stand it. So I kind of have like this, the traffic light analogy, right? There are the red days. If you're on a red day, just get out for 5 minutes. And if it's not working for you, just go back home.
Yep.
There are the caution days, right? That yellow light. Get out a little bit longer. Maybe you could push it and fight through. If not, then turn around and go home. And then there are the green days. Hey, I'm feeling good today. Let me take advantage of this, you know? So there's that part of it. So if someone's just starting, whether they just got the diagnosis or they just started the treatment,
nice.
Take to heart what I'm saying right here. Refuel intelligently. This is huge. You've got to watch your diet. Like you got to, what's that expression? Watch it like a hawk.
Yeah.
Because if you're in shape and you think, oh, I'm just going to eat the way I've been eating because it's worked for me. Oof, That's what I thought. And quickly, from May 28th to July 17th, when I looked down, I was at the Jersey Shore. I'm like, what the hell happened here?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
So focus on that. Focus on rest. It's so important to get as much rest as you can. And then, the mental battle, if you take care of those things, the mental battle of, what's going on physically, not as strong, tired, the sexual part of it, you could kind of put it into perspective that it's a short-term thing, and it'll come. That's going to come back to you. And then where do you want to go after this? Your body broke down. I always believe my body broke down for a reason. At the time, I didn't know what the reason was, but now I'm thinking I know the reason, and that's why I'm on your show to talk about, hey, let's get to the other side of this.
Yeah.
And let's be, something bad happened, but let's make good from it.
I love that. That's perfect, man. And I've, I think it was, I'm trying to remember, forgive me, I don't remember the reference. I've kind of adapted the saying, but what I've learned through all these crazy surgeries I've had recently in the last 10, 12 years is don't go for perfect. Perfect life does not have to be perfect to be amazing. You can still, you can still have, it can be pretty awesome. It doesn't have to be perfect. So
it's interesting you say that, because I referenced before about looking back at my notebook and how I had planned out like what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, like by day 3, it was out the window. And I think I was looking at it like I was trying to be in that moment, writing out my schedule. Like if I look back at the date, I think it was the day before the shot, the 27th of May. And, all right, I'm going to get up. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go walk at this time. Yeah. At this time, I'm going to do. And as soon as that went out the window, I just didn't have the wherewithal. I was trying to be perfect instead of just being consistent. Yeah. Just showing up for myself consistently. And had I been consistent with the fitness and the diet and the mindset, I would have came through this in better shape than I did. But now I know better, and I can help other men navigate this tough time a little bit easy. Give them a smoother ride through it.
Exactly. Well, and even if you're not consistent, it doesn't have to be perfect either, right? So,
that's a more consistent than perfect. Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up, man.
Yeah,
it's you're doing what you can do, and you're going for it, man. You're surviving, and you're gonna survive. So that's how it is. So.
Yes. So very excited about the rest of my life.
I love it.
I'm in a good place. I'm in a good place right now. But
this was recent, man. This is 2025. This was just earlier this year.
Yeah.
So just think about that, everybody. Yeah. He's just now coming. Like, this is fresh, man. So that's why it's exciting. So in that light, unfortunately we're out of time, but in that light, thank you for being here, man. This is an amazing story to tell in this time. So thank you so much for being here and being so open. So
thank you for having me on here. Thank you for giving me the platform to talk about it. And, to any men out there, you'll get through this. You'll get through, and, take some of these suggestions that I have and help yourself get through a little bit easier. Give yourself a little bit easier time to get through.
Exactly. Totally. And if you need to, reach out through the QR code and you can talk. So
my website on there, there's a link to the cancer coaching, and I go through what the program would be like. Again, just let's have a conversation. We'll schedule a call and tell me where you are right now, and we'll see how I can help you if we're fit to work together.
I love that. Thank you so much, Frank.
Jeff,
so appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate what you do.
All right. Amazing. I learned something new every time too. Remember? Every time. All right, everybody, listen up. We are out of time, but join us. By the way, Happy New Year. It's December 30th. I'm not going to see you again until 2026. So Happy New Year. Please have a safe New Year and fun New Year. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And if you do, just make sure it doesn't end up online, right? So we'll see you for the next show on Friday, January 2nd. Have a wonderful day.